Welcome back to the Swang Blow Podcast Show. It is yours truly, Crip. What's happening with all my people out there in the free world? It's an absolute pleasure to be back here amongst my round table family. What's happening with all y'all out there, man? I appreciate y'all taking the time out y'all day to come sit with me for this little bit of time as I run down another crazy prison story for y'all, man. Now, look, I'm not going to hold you up too long. We're going to jump right into this thing, and then I'm going to let y'all get back to y'all day. Okay, so this situation with the homeboy, Vamp from Ghost Town, Pomona Ghost Town Crip, right? Vamp was an older homie. You know what I'm saying? I met him in the year 1999 in CALIPATRIA State Prison on the B Yard, right? Now, at that time, it was probably 20 something of my homies as far as the SGV go. You know what I'm saying? There, you had Do Rocks, you had Altadena Blocks, you had Ghost Towns, you had Trey 5-7s. I don't believe it was any Angelo Mafias. No, Stutterbox was there, but they ended up coming late and they wasn't on that yard at that time. But Stutterbox and Dude Popcorn from Angelo's was there. And Short Dog, of course, ended up coming. That was all later on in the game. You know what I'm saying? As far as the Angelos, it wasn't no West Side Mafias there. You know what I'm saying? South Side Villages was there, of course. West Covina neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? Dark Sides, you know what I'm saying? West Covina hustlers, you know what I mean? Hey, if I'm forgetting anybody, my bad, you know what I'm saying? But the SGV is the SGV, consists of all the Crips about the San Gabriel Valley. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we all there, and Vamp was in my building. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I first got there was really no issues with Vamp like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing out of the normal with him. He wasn't acting strange or none of that. But as time went on, you know, I believe a death had occurred in his family, right? I'm not really sure who it was that passed away in his family, right? But somebody that was near and dear to him ended up passing away. When that person passed away, that's when he lost it. So I remember one day being in my cell and I remember hearing the alarm go off. You know what I mean? And I remember like later on after that alarm, somebody came and told me and my homies like, hey, your homeboy Vamp set his cell on fire. So we like, what? They like, yeah, man, he set his whole cell on fire, burnt up everything in his cell, everything. So I'm in my head, I'm like, how do you set your cell on fire? You're locked inside the cell, four walls, nowhere to go. The windows don't open. You know what I'm saying? The door only open when the police open it. So I'm like, how do you burn up everything in your cell and you don't get burnt up? Well, he actually did get burnt. He got burnt on his arms, I believe, on his back and on his legs. And before the fire was able to actually mess him up worse than it did, the police was able to get him up out that cell. But by the time they got him out that cell, everything in there is burnt up. All his clothes, his TV, his radio, his CDs, everything. Everything. When I say everything, everything, stuff was melted down inside his cell. You know what I'm saying? Iron, you metal, you see metal melt? Metal was melted in his cell. That's how serious and bad that fire was. Now, we had to talk with Vamp about that afterwards, you know what I'm saying? And this is when I realized that bro was dealing with something that was beyond anything that any of us was able to help him with, right? With some real serious mental issues. Because he started telling us it had nothing to do with the person that died. This is what he's telling us. He said that he's in his cell and he hear the people next door to him, which happened to have been some essays, I believe, right? He hear them next door to him saying, get him, get him, get him, in the vent. Now, each cell has a vent that's connected to the next cell. And then also, well, the vent is connected to four different cells. It's yours, then the one next door, then upstairs, then the one next door to the person upstairs, right? So he said he's hearing a voice in the vent saying, "Get him, get him, get him, get him." And then he started hearing like some gas coming through the vent, like psst. He's hearing a noise like that, right? So he say that he felt like they was trying to unalive him. He thought, see, back then we was able to have lighters, actual lighters, right? So he was saying that he thought that they had drained out all the lighter fluid and was somehow getting it into his cell so they can strike a match and set him on fire inside of his cell, right? So he said he went to go make a fire, got up under the vent to put the fire up to the vent to see if it set on fire, right? Which it didn't, right? He said that from him putting that fire up to the vent like that, it blew the fire from whatever he had it lit on onto his mattress. Now the mattresses are highly flammable. You know what I'm saying? Highly. So he said once it hit that mattress, everything just poof. So he's standing in front of his cell, right? Don't know what to do. So I'm like, you didn't try to put the fire out? And then he said it happened so fast where it got out of control where he couldn't do nothing but stand at that door. That was the only safe place for him, to stand at that door and hope they come open it in time, in which they did, right? So bam, he telling us this story, and I'm telling the homies, I'm like, hey, bro, like, I don't know about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? So we was all questioning that, right? So bam, nothing really became of it. So bam, um, I remember one night being in the cell chilling. It's probably like 12, maybe 1 in the morning. And all you hear is somebody screaming at the top of their lungs. I'm He's saying he's gonna unalive you. I'ma unalive you. I'ma unalive you. You ain't gonna get me. You ain't gonna get me. I'ma unalive you, right? At the top of their lungs, loud. You know what I'm saying? Beating on stuff. You know what I mean? Like, bro was tripping. So me and the homie, like, that sound like vamp, right? So bam, the homie Dino from Altadena Block, he called down to me and the homie Dre Boy from Southside Village. Shout out to Dre Boy from Southside Village too. Me and Dre Boy was cellies at that time. He called down there to our cell like, hey, the homie down here tripping, right? Now, we don't want it to get to the point, because you already is, screaming out your cell 12, 1 in the morning. At 9 o'clock in any prison that I ever been in, at 9 o'clock, no noise at all. Nobody is screaming over the tier. Nobody is talking over the tier. None of that. We don't play none of that, right? You don't do that. Once 9 o'clock at night hit, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? So bam, it's 12, 1 in the morning. This fool screaming at the top of his lungs. That's an automatic violation. So bam, we hop on the door and we trying to scream down to him like, vamp, vamp, vamp. Man, what's wrong, bro? What's wrong, right? So finally, when we was able to get his attention, he telling us that somebody is trying to unalive him, and he's gonna unalive them before they unalive him, right? So we like, no, vamp, wake up, right? So we trying to get him to come back to and start thinking rationally, right? In which he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So it took a long time for us to calm him down and make him realize that wasn't nobody trying to do nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? So finally, after us talking to him for a certain amount of time, he finally chilled out. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I was like, yeah, man, bro need help. He need help. And the type of help that he need, we not going to be able to help him with. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, man, mental health in prison is crazy, especially if you are trapped. You are trapped inside a concrete coffin. That's what I call it, a concrete coffin. And there's nowhere to go. You are left alone with your demons inside that little bitty cell. So whatever you got going on mentally in your head that ain't right, being entrapped in that concrete coffin is gonna heighten it. It's gonna make it worse. Especially if you a person that don't know how to, you know, take your mind elsewhere and not think about, where you're at, your surroundings, you know what I'm saying, what you can and can't do, or none of that. If you are that skittish, squeamish, you know what I'm saying, excuse me, to the point where, and on top of that, mental health too, you know what I'm saying? Jail and prison is not the place for you. I'm here to tell you now. It's not. Don't be stupid and go out and commit a crime and you got all kind of mental issues going on, because once you get locked inside that jail cell, the police ain't gonna care about how crazy you are. You get crazy with them, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna put you on a 72-hour psych evaluation. You know what I'm saying? When you locked inside a little room where there's no toilets, no nothing. It's just one little bed for you to lay on, and they don't give you no blankets and no sheets like that. They give you like some paper made. I don't know what they call them in the hospital, but they're not real blankets. You know what I'm saying? It look like aluminum foil, but they give you something like that, so you can't go in there and hang yourself if you feeling suicidal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they put you on a 72-hour psych evaluation when you get crazy with them, and then bring you back to the yard and they throw you right back in that cell. So you go from one cell to the other. That's why I always tell dudes, like, or I used to tell them, like, what is y'all scared to go to the hole for? You're going from one jail cell to another jail cell. All the jail cells look the same. They feel the same. They are the same. Why are you scared to go to the hole? Go put some work in. If there's work that need to be put in, go put that in. You don't need to be scared of no other cell that they're going to put you in. You're already in a jail cell. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't, them demons are cold. I didn't have people tell me, oh, I can't be in the cell by myself, man. I got to have somebody get in there. I just lose my mind. I get to thinking about this and thinking about that. Well, why are you committing crimes? That be my thought in my head, like really? You a hardcore gang member, a hardcore criminal. How can you not, you know, um, find peace within yourself to be able to exist regardless of where they got you captured at? You feel me? I mean, hey, that's the question of the day, right? At least you would think that. You feel me? But yeah, man, I've run across all kind of crazy people, man. But I've seen people unalive themselves. Quite a few of that. You know what I'm saying? Quite a few of that, especially in New Folsom Hole. When you get to New Folsom, when you get to that hole in New Folsom, the suicide, they take that extremely serious. And so y'all know, you go in there, they count you every 15 minutes on the clock, 24 hours a day, every day. Don't miss it. You feel me? When they come by your cell, there's a little thing that's on your door, and they got this little machine. So every time they go by your cell, every 15 minutes, they hit your door with that thing. Bam. Right? That's letting them know. Well, that's letting the little computer thing know that you're alive. They seen you in the cell, you're alive and you're moving. You know what I'm saying? And they go to each cell. They do this every 15 minutes, all day, every day. You hear that beep sound, beep, 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 every time, every 15 minutes. Beep, 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 every 15 minutes. You feel me? It was so many people unaliving themselves in that hole. That was a dark hole. That was a dark, dark hole. I remember getting back there, you know what I'm saying? And being back there, shout out to Twin too from neighborhood Rolling 40 Crip. You know what I'm saying? Twin from neighborhood Rolling 40's Crip was back there. You know, he the one that gave me the um, um, books that I read while I was back there, which was, you know what I'm saying, extremely helpful. You know what I mean? For real, for real. You need that. But yeah, man, you know, I've seen all kind of crazy stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Going to them holes, especially back then, you had no TV, no radio, no nothing. You know what I mean? And the way that that hole was built, well, just like all the new holes now in all the prisons, right? You got one window. You got one window to look out of, and that window is in the ceiling, right? It's a ceiling with the window in it. Then it's like a little room right there where they walk and look down at you. You know what I'm saying? And then it's another little window. So all you can see is the sky. When you look up, you're looking up at the sky. That's all you can see. When you go and look out your door, you're looking at a wall. You can't see this way. You can't see that way. You're looking straight at a wall. You can't see nothing. You feel me? So, yeah, man. And dudes be back there for months, some over a year, especially if you're doing your shoe time, you know what I'm saying? And whatever prison that you at, like, hey, dudes be back there forever, bro. Forever. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not mentally strong, it's gonna do you in. I promise you that. It's gonna do you in. I've seen a lot of dudes go in them holes, man, that not come out the same. For real, for real. But yeah, man, that was my story I wanted to bring to y'all. You know what I'm saying? My first uh encounter with the homie Vamp. You know what I'm saying? From Ghost Town, tried to unalive itself. You know what I'm saying? In Calipatria State Prison. You know what I mean? After that, I ended up running across him years down the line in New Folsom State Prison, right? And of course, he act like he didn't know who I was. You know what I'm saying? That the mental stuff, man, the mental health. You know what I'm saying? I didn't force it because you can't speak rationally to somebody that's not all the way there. You know what I mean? And that was the issue with the homie, man. Shout out to the homie Vamp, though. Shout out to the Ghost Towns as well. But yeah, that's my story I wanted to bring to y'all, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this on up, close this on off, let y'all get back to y'all day as I get back to mine. I appreciate you all taking the time out to come sit at this round table with me, man, to hear these stories. You know what I mean? I know it's people out there that be wanting to hear this type of stuff so they can understand the atmosphere and what it's really like from somebody that actually been through it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that actually lived it. You feel me? But yeah, man, on that note, I'm finna get on up out of here. Love and appreciate you all, man. To the next time we meet at this round table, y'all stay safe out there, man. Triple gang.